This series begins with most notorious high school in all of Korea. Not only do all the students glorify violence, but even academic rankings can be decided through fights. However, despite this harsh environment, Ga-min still wanted to get into a top university. He knew from a young age that knowledge could change his fate. Without anyone asking, he joined various tutoring classes. After working hard, he finally ranked third from the bottom. But this didn't discourage him. After entering middle school, he even hired a private tutor. Yet his grades stayed the same, still third from the bottom. He blamed himself for not working hard enough, so he studied everywhere, on the bus, even in the restroom. Finally, he moved up to second from the bottom. Failing again and again, he started losing motivation. One day, he overheard classmates talking about attending technical high school and entering college through special admission. Suddenly, he regained his desire to study. He eagerly entered technical high school, only to find it wasn't what he expected. He thought if he just kept his head down and studied, everything would be fine, but his grades remained second from the bottom. He guessed the tough students must be studying hard at home. So, he decided to try the last solution: create a study group. His mom's friend mentioned her son improved by 10 places after joining a study group. So he applied to join many groups, but was always rejected for being too far behind. Some boys even mocked that he'd have better reborn than joining a study group. From that moment, he swore to create his own study group. He looked for the smartest-looking student among the slackers and found Sihyun. Just as he invited him to study, a guy ranked 173rd challenged Sihyun. Sihyun didn't want to fight, but a guy nearby warned him that if he didn't fight properly, he'd report him to the disciplinary department. The disciplinary department was an official school gang, meant to suppress ordinary troublemakers, using violence freely. Sihyun had no choice but to fight back. Unfortunately, he wasn't strong enough and lost the fight. That day, a new teacher, Miss Lee, arrived. Ga-min realized she was his private tutor from middle school. She had always recognized his efforts and believed he would beat his bad one day. When she started calling the roll, the class showed extreme disrespect, with a boy even farting. The class bully leader, Hyun-woo, woke up in anger. He threw coffee at the blackboard and punished that boy.
내 커피 던진 거야.
씨발.
그래, 이 씨발아.
After class, Ga-min found Miss Lee to reminisce about the past. She kindly asked about his current studies. Excitedly, he told her about his plan to create a study group and said he already had someone in mind. To get Sihyun to join, Ga-min followed him around and kept talking to himself. Eventually, Sihyun couldn't take it anymore and agreed to tutor him. He explained things patiently, again and again, but Ga-min still didn't understand. Though he took very detailed notes, they were all useless. He truly had no talent for studying. Sihyun refused to join his study group and told the naive Ga-min that Pi Han-ul would never allow it. Pi Han-ul's father was a notorious gang leader known for his cruelty. Pi Han-ul was the #1 in school, not because of grades, but because of his combat power. He also created a ranking software to make students obsess over the power ranking. Ga-min didn't care and showed his second-place report card, persuading him to study for college together. Sihyun angrily tore it up and warned Ga-min to stop bothering him. In the restroom, he thought Ga-min was still following him, so he cursed loudly. To his surprise, it was Hyun-woo. He quickly apologized for mistaking him. Hyun-woo didn't let it go and demanded 200,000 won as compensation. Sihyun looked troubled but was brutally beaten. Just then, Ga-min, wearing a mask and holding a fire extinguisher, burst in. In the chaos, he rescued Sihyun, but Sihyun didn't thank him and blamed him for interfering. He said that if he escaped, he would be tortured forever. He tried to leave but ran into Hyun-woo again. Even though he was beaten again, he didn't reveal that Ga-min had saved him. At a critical moment, Ga-min appeared, broke the stick, and knocked Hyun-woo unconscious. Ga-min always believed that good health leads to good grades. Since 3rd grade, he exercised every day. His uncle, who ran a martial arts school, wanted him to be the successor, but Ga-min just wanted to study. After being rescued, Sihyun went home tired. His alcoholic father told him to learn welding after graduation and said college was a waste of money. One needed to have skills to be treated well. Sihyun left home sadly. He had always been a top student. But following his father's orders, he gave up the top high school and went to technical school. No one, except Ga-min, understood or supported his dream of going to college. So he picked up his old mistake notebook and put them in Ga-min's desk. As Ga-min was about to thank him, a bench hit him. It turned out Hyun-woo found out he was the one wearing the mask. He picked up the notebook and set it on fire. Ga-min, desperate to save it, dodged Hyun-woo's attacks. Even so, he knocked Hyun-woo down. The notebook was ruined. He was furious and decided to fight Hyun-woo. After a few rounds, Hyun-woo fell to the ground, helpless. He was angry and desperate, throwing the burning backpack. Ga-min calmly kicked the backpack back into his arms. The 220th ranked loser defeated the top 10 fighter. The whole school was shocked. But he only wanted Hyun-woo to wake up and apologize to Si-hyun. Seeing his burned hand, Si-hyun angrily threw the notebook in the trash and agreed to join the study group. Just then, Miss Lee rushed in and put out the burning backpack, but it was too late. The inspector, who came to inspect the school, witnessed the fight and arson. The vice principal immediately identified Ga-min as the bully and decided to expel him. Miss Lee bravely claimed the school was at fault. Ga-min had no choice because he was bullied and assaulted first. She bluntly stated that in this high school, kids had to use violence to protect themselves. The inspector recognized her as the top scorer on the teacher certification exam last year. But she didn't register and the certification was cancelled. He asked her how she planned to fix the school's problem. In a panic, Miss Lee remembered Ga-min's idea of study groups and decided to push for it. The inspector seemed interested. The vice principal reluctantly agreed, but added a condition. The study group had to reach 5 members within 2 weeks to be recognized as an official club. To make it happen, Ga-min and Si-hyun posted recruitment notices, but no one signed up. Meanwhile, rumors spread that Ga-min was a fire-breathing monster. A guy ranked 3rd in combat power didn't believe it and ignored others' warnings to challenge him. Ga-min thought he was joining the study group and welcomed him, then turned to get the application form. The guy attacked, but he only focused on finding the form, dodged every punch without effort. Seeing the form get crushed, he went to get a new one. The guy got knocked down by the locker door. Ga-min was confused and didn't know what happened while Si-hyun was shocked. Students watching outside now saw him as a master who could beat anyone easily. The rumors spread further. Ga-min unknowingly created another legend. He became a terrifying figure to students ranked lower. No one dared to make eye contact with him. However, he wanted to find students loving study through eye contact. Sadly, no one seemed interested in learning. While complaining to Si-hyun, he saw an unusual boy walking toward him. Si-hyun explained that the boy was his middle school friend, John Yop, who later went to study in the US. Ga-min rushed to him and sincerely invited him to join the study group. Jeon Yop mocked him, saying he didn't care about guys around him getting hurt just to form a study group. With time running out, Si-hyun suggested he should play sports instead of studying. Ga-min knew he had athletic talent, but he just loved studying. Miss Lee encouraged them by buying many study supplies and treating them to food. When she got home, she found her door broken. Hyun-woo, covered in wounds, was inside. Earlier, he was punished by Pi Han-ul for losing to Ga-min. He was ordered to make Miss Lee lose her job or he would die. At a critical moment, the lights suddenly went out. A guy rushed in, knocked everyone down, and helped her escape. In the elevator, the guy took off his hat. It was Jeon Yop. They had met on campus before. He pulled her into the parking lot. She tried to call the police using his phone, but a thug grabbed it. She then tried to stop the fight, but they even dared to attack a teacher. Jeon Yop fought off several, but was eventually beaten down by the group. Hyun-woo recognized him as the boy involved in a random murder case in middle school and ordered his men to beat him. He then aimed to attack Miss Lee, but Ga-min suddenly appeared. He took off his glasses and fought them alone. He grabbed their sticks and chains, turned them into nunchucks, and knocked them all to the ground.
쌤 괜찮으세요?
John Yop wanted to ask about the murder case, which seemed connected to his mom's death. To prevent things from getting worse, Ga-min stopped him, giving Hyun-woo a chance to escape. He tried to chase, but the pain in his belly stopped him. Before leaving, he advised Miss Lee not to believe that bad guys would be fairly punished. He also warned Ga-min not to form a study group. Afterwards, Miss Lee returned the legend of Bruce Lee to Ga-min. He had come because he had left the book with her. She hesitated about calling the police when someone rang the doorbell. It was one of the thugs. He knelt down, begging her to spare him, saying they were ordered by Pi Han-ul and would be killed if they disobeyed. She felt sorry for him and agreed to let him go if he answered her questions truthfully. The next day, someone sent a message saying they wanted to join the study group. Ga-min excitedly rushed to the other party's classroom but quickly stepped back. There were all girls inside, and he had no idea who Ji-woo was. A curly-haired girl called Ji-woo's name. When Se-hyun saw her, he urged Ga-min to leave, as she was Hyun-woo's twin sister. Suddenly, chaos broke out in the classroom. Girls were bullying Ji-woo and her friend Hee-won. She mocked their study schedule, stomped on it, and even spit gum on it. Ga-min quickly caught it and praised the schedule. Just then, Gyu-jin from disciplinary department walked in, claiming Ji-woo was his girlfriend and threatening to punish her for talking to other boys. At that moment, Ga-min threw the gum at his face. A fight was about to break out. The teacher appeared and stopped them. But messing with the disciplinary department would bring endless trouble to the study group. Suddenly, Hee-won came here and admitted she submitted the application in Ji-woo's name, hoping they could protect Ji-woo from bullying. She was a transfer student who accidentally offended curly-haired girl and became her target. Ji-woo stood up for her, which made the girl resent her. In addition, her brother Hyun lost something important while working part-time. Gyu-jin agreed to lend him money, but ordered him steal it from a convenience store, recording the whole thing. Since then, he threatened Ji-woo with the video and became her boyfriend. Hee-won was about to move schools, so she begged the two to help her delete that video. Si-hyun was concerned because the video was in the disciplinary office. Hearing this, Ga-min still wasn't afraid. He hid in the office's locker and overheard that it was Gyu-jin who had robbed Hyun-woo that night. He lent the stolen money back to Hyun-woo and recorded the whole thing to control him. The mastermind behind it all was Pai Han-ul. Meanwhile, Miss Lee called him to the office and figured out what he had done. He didn't deny it and claimed she was the most interesting teacher he had met. On the other side, Ga-min decided to take action. Seeing the USB plugged into a computer, he let Gyu-jin grab his legs on purpose, then slowly moved closer to the computer and took the USB. He got up, knocked Gyu-jin down cleanly, but ran into 3 other guys. Outnumbered, he was pinned down but still held on tightly to the USB. The evil Gyu-jin decided to upload the video online to ruin Hyun-woo's life. The two outside planned how to rescue Ga-min. Ji-woo, who was passing by, heard their plan and decided to join them. Suddenly, Ga-min kicked the door open, ran out with the computer, but he was tripped. The computer slid right to Se-hyun's feet. Ga-min blocked the chasing guys while Se-hyun ran to the rooftop with the computer. Gyu-jin pressured him to hand over the computer. Seeing no one below, Se-hyun threw it down. Gyu-jin was about to attack him, but Ji-woo showed up and easily defeated him. Afterward, a teacher took Ga-min away, and the USB fell to the ground. Hee-won noticed it and wanted to pick it up, but curly-haired girl snatched it and said she'd return it to Gyu-jin. For the first time, the quiet Hee-won cursed and charged at the girl, taking back the USB. Ji-woo praised her courage and helped her up. At that moment, Hyun-woo appeared. Pi Han-ul had told him the truth earlier and given him a knife, tempting him to kill Gyu-jin. In a crisis, Miss Lee blocked the knife with her body. She had researched Hyun-woo's background and knew he lived with him to kill Gyu-jin. To support her studies, he worked while attending school. Miss Lee comforted him, saying she would help him. Ga-min quickly carried her to the hospital. Luckily, her injury wasn't serious. Ji-woo apologized to her on behalf of her brother. Miss Lee used the opportunity to ask her to join the study group. Hee-won also decided not to transfer and wanted to join the group with her. Feeling the warmth, Ji-woo agreed to join. Meanwhile, Hyun-woo was sent to a juvenile center. Pi Han-ul was arrested by the police but was quickly released. The next day, someone downstairs shouted for a one-on-one with Ga-min. The news that disciplinary department was defeated caused a stir. Rumors quickly spread that Ga-min wanted to rule the whole school. The first to him was Kang, the number 1 of the 11th grade. Ga-min didn't want to pay attention to him. But when he saw Lee Jun's application to join the study group being torn up, he jumped down and punched Kang to the ground. Lee Jun had loved fighting since childhood but always lost. He thought his body was too weak, so he started training his lung capacity, wearing short sleeves in winter, but still got beaten. He thought he wasn't trying hard enough, so he worked out more, even in class or on the bus. The results were always the same. One day, he overheard that to get stronger, he should go to technical high school. He got hopeful and enrolled this school. There, he learned many fighting skills, rising from a 173rd to 17th on the leaderboard. Since then, no matter how hard he tried, his ranking could no longer rise. After seeing Ga-min's duel with Hyun-woo, he wanted to join the study group. Ga-min refused, because he only wanted to improve his fight ranking. Lee Jun then said he would focus on studying. To test his determination, Ga-min gave him a test to finish before they returned. While he was taking the test seriously, a tattooed man suddenly barged in. He flipped through the book and mistook Lee Jun for Ga-min, telling him to follow him for another test. They went to a remote warehouse. The man said he was a scouter for the YB family, looking for backup fighters. Only the top 3 from each school could join the test. If Lee Jun defeated 3 guys and grabbed the car key on the hood, he would become a backup fighter and own the car. Meanwhile, everyone thought Lee Jun had run away. But after seeing the test paper, Ga Min realized something was wrong. It wasn't until Gion Yap showed up that they learned Lee Jun had been taken by the gang. The scouter soon realized he wasn't Ga Min and decided to punish him. At that moment, Ga Min appeared with his buddies. He held up the test paper, announcing Lee Jun had passed. Seeing poor Lee Jun, everyone was ready to fight. Ji Woo attacked first, with Gion Yop joining right after. Ga Min rolled up the paper and used the knowledge to defeat a knife-wielding guy. He then rushed at the scouter but was overpowered. Even when the 3 of them teamed up, they were badly beaten. Ga Min struggled to get up. He decided to show the dangerous technique his uncle forbade him from using. He used one-sided attack technique until the wall broke. Suddenly, a car started. Lee Jun instantly got up and pushed him aside. Ga Min reacted quickly, avoiding the danger. A hat guy got out of the car and invited him to join the YB family. He firmly refused, saying he only wanted to study and go to college. The hat guy then mocked Gion Yop, asking if he went to their school to pay condolences or if it was in the will. Gion Yap was enraged and immediately chased him on his motorcycle. The police arrived and arrested the scouter and his men. Before leaving, the detective gave Ga Min a business card and thanked them for helping catch the gangsters. Back to base, the hat guy praised Ga Min's performance, calling him impressive. Pi Han-ul also gave a rare 4-star rating. After experiencing life and death together, the 5 finally formed a study group. To motivate them, Miss Lee decided to take them to visit another school's study group. The 4 dressed in their latest fashion and confidently walked through Seoul. With Miss Lee's recommendation, they visited the top-ranked Manil High. Ga Min, confused, accidentally entered the notorious Manik High next door. While waiting, Lee Jun decided to play a game to ease the tension with the top students. One girl, however, acted arrogantly and seemed unwilling to talk to them. Ji Woo almost clashed with her. A boy explained that she acted aggressively because they were always bullied by evil guys from Manik High. Meanwhile, a top student was being blackmailed. Even if they're called the police, they would face retaliation. Unaware, Ga Min walked into the building and was immediately surrounded by bullies. He punched away a flying fire extinguisher. A guy inside heard the noise and thought Ga Min was being beaten up. When he opened the door, he saw all his buddies lying on the ground. The boy, looking for money from his mom, saw Ga Min break in. At that moment, Se-hyun called and asked him to save the boy from Manik High. The boy quickly stood up, reminding him to leave fast. Just then, the strongest monster appeared. Ga Min calmly took off his glasses, then went full force, and knocked him down. He then took the boy back to Manil High, and they successfully exchanged study experience. Before leaving, the top students apologized sincerely. The boy pulled Ga Min aside and asked if he remembered him. They had been classmates in middle school. Back then, Ga Min had asked to join his study group but was mocked. He apologized for his arrogance and believed that Ga Min could become #1 in the school, even in the country. Back at school, the study group finally got their own activity room. Though it was in poor condition, Ga Min remained optimistic and planned the layout. Together they cleaned the classroom and it finally looked neat and tidy. Kim, the #1 in grades, came over to provoke them, calling them brainless fools. Ga Min held back his anger and decided to beat him with good grades. Miss Lee admired his courage but warned him not to be arrogant. She then analyzed their rankings. Except for Se-hyun, who was second, the others were in the lower middle range. She encouraged them not to give up. They could do it if they did as she said from now on. After school, Lee Jun revealed that he saw Miss Lee go to see the dean. She wanted a disciplinary meeting to punish Pi Han-ul. The dean doubted she could pull it off, so he wanted to test her abilities first. If each member of the study group improved by 10 ranks, he would agree to her proposal. So this midterm was not just a battle between students. Se-hyun got a call and left in a hurry. His father shouted for him to come to the construction site. Feeling upset, he suddenly heard Hee-won calling him. The two have a crush on each other. On the way, they ran into Kim and the curly-haired girl. Se-hyun was used to being bullied and couldn't fight back. He could only watch as Kim took Hee-won away. Just then, Ga Min arrived, knocked Kim down, and kicked away their phones. Se-hyun felt ashamed that his crush saw his weakness. He left quietly. At home, as expected, his father scolded him. He ran outside and saw Ga Min waiting. Ga-min had heard their fight and told him to come home with him. Struggling with his pride, Se-hyun refused and wandered off, only to be caught by Kim. But this time, he dodged every attack and even fought back. It turned out that Ga-min was secretly guiding him on the phone from nearby. For the first time, Se-hyun enjoyed fighting back. Suddenly, Ga-min's phone died. Without help, Se-hyun was at a disadvantage again. Ga-min rushed downstairs to save him but saw him bravely stand up and punch Kim to the ground. Afterwards, Ga-min took Se-hyun home. It was past 11 p.m. His mom, cold-faced, had been waiting outside. Seeing the blood on his friend, she demanded Ga-min to transfer schools the next day. She could accept his son's poor grades, but not him becoming a violent kid. Se-hyun thought his mom was just saying that, since transferring wasn't easy, but Ga-min knew she always meant what she said. The next day, she went to the principal's office to discuss transfer. Se-hyun still had hope, thinking with Ga-min's poor grades, no school would accept him. But his mom decided to move to Seoul to find a school. To buy time, he once stopped the car. Everyone tried their best to persuade his mom. She even lied, saying she had Ga-min's baby. But his mom ignored her and drove off. Miss Lee arrived in a hurry but was too late. She chased after Ga-min with kids in her car. Suddenly, a group of motorcycles blocked the road. Their leader was Kang, who had lost to Ga-min not long ago. He knew that if Ga-min transferred, he could stay first in the combat power ranking. Lee Jun and Ji-woo got out of the car and fought with the group, defeating them to the ground. Then, Lee Jun told them to go ahead while he stayed behind to block the attack. Miss Lee knocked a motorcycle down and kept speeding forward. Ga-min's mom was talking to a real estate agent when they arrived. She and Miss Lee had known each other for a long time. A year ago, Miss Lee's mentor, Miss Woo, passed away unexpectedly. Ga-min's mom told Miss Lee that instead of staying in grief, she should use her strength to help students like Miss Woo did. Miss Lee took her advice and came to this school to protect kids from bullying and help them study. Ga-min even successfully formed a study group and made many friends. This made his mom feel guilty. She realized she had never expected much from her son, which might have hurt him. Just as she was about to agree, a new crisis came. Pae Han-ul learned that Miss Lee had filed a petition to impeach him, so he sent men to deal with her. Ga-min was ready to fight, but the bat was kicked away by his mom, who was the director of Korean Taekwondo Association. She then worked with the kids to defeat them. Miss Lee was about to call the police when the hat guy suddenly shot at her. Ga-min rushed to grab the gun but was too late. To protect Miss Lee, his mom was shot in the head and fell unconscious. In the hospital, Ga Eun-yap told him the truth and warned him not to try to seek revenge on Pae Han-ul. Pae Han-ul had 3 bodyguards, Dae Cheol, Sun Cheol, and Min Cheol. They were very strong. No one could defeat them. Thinking of his injured mom, Ga-min still chose to go find him, but was pinned to the ground by Sun Cheol. Before leaving, Pae Han-ul told them to leave Ga-min, a breath of life. Ga-min stopped another 2 guys from leaving, wanting to defeat all 3 at once. In the next fight, he still lost. Lying on the ground, he heard his heart racing and remembered his uncle's teaching. At times like this, staying calm was the key. He slowly stood up, trying to steady his heartbeat. Then he used a forbidden move and fought back with all his strength, successfully defeating all 3. Meanwhile, the vice principal scolded Miss Lee for submitting a petition to the Education Bureau, as if the school was a gangster training ground. He asked her to apologize to all students and teachers. Miss Lee calmly stood on stage, then firmly said their school was not in a normal state now. She wanted to carry on her teacher's wish and turn it into an ordinary high school. The vice principal rushed up and knocked away the microphone. Meanwhile, Ga-min kicked open the door and punched Pae Han-ul. Pae Han-ul fought back without hesitation. Ga-min told him he was just an ordinary person too, getting hit hurts, so he should stop acting so cocky. After being provoked, the hat guy suggested him to deal with Ga-min immediately. Pae Han-ul made a call and recommended his bodyguard, Sun Cheol. At that moment, Sun Cheol was at the hospital taking care of his grandfather. His grandfather hoped he would become a good person. So, in his free time, Sun Cheol always studied hard. He ran into Ga-min, who was visiting his injured mom. When he knew why Ga-min wanted revenge, he understood his feelings. Ga-min asked why he obeyed Pae Han-ul when he clearly wanted to study. Sun Cheol mocked him, saying studying wouldn't guarantee a good job, but serving Pae Han-ul could get a direct job in the YB family. Just then, Dae Cheol called and told him to hide. Right after, 2 fighter trainers arrived. Sun Cheol immediately acted respectful. He even pushed Ga-min aside, pretending not to know him. The two then escorted him away. The next day, the news reported that a 40-year-old man was stabbed to death. The suspect was Sun Cheol. The detective asked Ga Min if he saw Sun Cheol at the hospital last night. Ga Min admitted, but didn't mention that gangsters took him away. After school, he felt down. Si Hyun noticed and knew he didn't believe Sun Cheol was the killer. The study group held an emergency meeting. Si Hyun found that since Pae Han-ul enrolled, high school student crime rates increased, while adult crime rates dropped. Students got lighter sentences due to their ages and could get parole in a few years. In return, they joined the gang after release and became YB family members. Now, they just needed proof that Sun Cheol didn't kill. That night, on his way home, Ga Min met Dae Cheol, who said Sun Cheol was not the killer. The fighter trainer chased after him, planning to punish him. Ga Min couldn't ignore it. He took off his glasses and knocked him out with a punch. Dae Cheol revealed he saw a gang official cleaning a bloody knife. It was an open secret in the gang that the officials killed, and the backup fighters served time instead. Ga Min shared the news with the study group. Ji-woo worried he was being used, but he believed Sun Cheol wasn't a killer because his eyes showed a desire to study. The four decided to trust his judgment and planned to find the murder weapon to save Sun Cheol. Ga Min and his buddies put on borrowed uniforms and sneaked into the YB family. Si Hyun and Hee-won stayed outside, using a drone to provide information. But today was the gang's general meeting, and Pae Han-ul would also attend. To avoid him, the three ran away. Ga Min got separated from the two and hid on the rooftop. The fighter trainer heard a noise and went upstairs to check. After he left, Ga Min found the door was locked. Meanwhile, Lee Jun's identity was exposed. He chose to fight alone while Ji-woo searched for evidence. She found the murder weapon in an office drawer. As she was leaving, she heard footsteps and hid in the desk, but the trainer had already noticed her. Meanwhile, Lee Jun was in a fierce fight. He was cut in several places but still defeated the guy. Ji-woo was also in danger. The trainers attacked her from both sides and knocked her out. Meanwhile, Ga Min was trying to find a way to leave when he got a call from Miss Lee. He quickly took out his mistake notebook but accidentally dropped it on the gang official. Just then, he saw the trainers carrying away the unconscious Ji-woo. He hung up in a hurry and kicked the door non-stop. Suddenly, Hee-won lost control of the drone. The hat guy appeared and destroyed it. They completely lost contact with the three. At the crucial moment, Sun Cheol blocked the car. The trainer mocked him, saying he shouldn't be here. It turned out Sun Cheol was asked to take the fall for the gang official. Pae Han-ul promised to hire the best lawyer and pay for his grandpa's treatment. Then, he gave Sun Cheol a lawyer's card and threw his word book into the trash. So Sun Cheol admitted the crime as ordered. But when the detective asked about murder details, his statement was full of mistakes. The detective knew he was not the real killer and persuaded him not to give up his life so easily. Thinking of his grandpa and kind Ga Min, Sun Cheol decided not to go along with Pae Han-ul anymore and persuaded him not to give up his life so easily. His buddies arrived. Ji-woo also woke up, grabbed the knife, and joined the fight. But the trainer was too strong. Even together, they couldn't win until Ga Min appeared with nunchucks. The trainer tore open his shirt, showing his scars, and fought him in close combat, knocking him to the ground. He mocked everyone as his defeated opponent. The next moment, Ga Min stood up unharmed and mocked his weak power. They fought again, and Ga Min used his uncle's forbidden technique, number 4, 0-inch punch, to send him flying. Afterward, he helped Sun Cheol up and invited him back to school and study together. Sun Cheol was unsure if he could be an ordinary student again. Meanwhile, the trainer still tried to pick up the knife. Ji-woo quickly kicked it away and told Sun Cheol not to overthink it, just study. Then, they heard shouting. Se-hyun and Hee-won arrived fully armed to help, making everyone laugh. Suddenly, Ga Min remembered his mistake notebook and quickly got up to chase the gang official. At that moment, the detective stopped him, knowing he was the real killer. The official pulled out a hidden weapon, but Ga Min knocked him out first. The bad guys were punished. The study group was getting ready for the life-changing midterm. After the exam, they excitedly checked answers with Se-hyun. Ga Min was upset, noticing his answers were different from theirs. Ga Min's mom, who had just been discharged from the hospital, called Miss Lee to ask where Ga Min was. Miss Lee reassured her not to worry, saying he was out having fun with his friends. His mom explained that he always got down before his grades came out. He even couldn't focus on anything or control his strength. His friends noticed something was wrong and took turns talking to him. Se-hyun said water only turns into steam when it reaches the boiling point, and before that, it looks unchanged. Learning is the same. If Ga Min kept putting in effort, big changes will come one day. Hearing this, Ga Min felt enlightened and stopped being unhappy. Suddenly, Dae Cheol called him. Sun Cheol's grandfather was in critical condition, but he still insisted on taking the exam. Sun Cheol rushed to the hospital but was stopped by gangsters. When he finally arrived, bruised and battered, he saw Ga Min helping his grandfather take the TOEIC exam. It was his lifelong wish. Later, the study group attended his funeral. Ga Min remembered his words. He had to show Sun Cheol the joy of learning. He told the grandfather that Sun Cheol had found happiness in studying. Sun Cheol opened the wordbook his grandfather left behind, thanked Ga Min for fulfilling his last wish and for saving him from despair. Soon, the midterm results came out. Se-hyun ranked first, and the others improved as well. The biggest surprise was Ga Min. He moved up from 219th to 209th place. Miss Lee took the report card to the dean. He kept his promise and held a disciplinary meeting for Pi Han-ul. On duty, Sun Cheol stopped Pi Han-ul's car and told him to walk in as per school rules. He got out of the car reluctantly, then glared at the study group, full of rage. Gi-yeon Yop asked Miss Lee to cancel the meeting. She was alone against Pi Han-ul's power and could get hurt. It turned out that Miss Woo, who had died, was Gi-yeon Yup's mother. A year ago, she pushed for the disciplinary meeting Pi Han-ul and others to clean up the school. However, a man in black killed her that night. Everyone suspected Pi Han-ul, but a backup fighter took the fall for him. Gi-yeon Yup feared Miss Lee would meet the same fate, but she refused to bow to evil. No matter how hard it got, she would fulfill Miss Woo's wish. Meanwhile, Pi Han-ul promised his father he would handle this crisis just like last time. Soon, a video edited to slander the study group for theft and violence appeared online. The study group became the rogue group. The vice principal wanted to hold a disciplinary meeting to punish them and fire Miss Lee unless she withdrew the charges against Pi Han-ul. Miss Lee told kids their kindness was not wrong and she didn't blame them. But until the truth came out, they must ignore all provocation, especially Ga Min. She would fix everything. Suddenly, students in the hallway started attacking each other for no reason. Pi Han-ul offered a reward. Anyone who raised their ranking within an hour would get 1 million won. Even Se-hyun's old friend attacked him. He felt sad and confused, wondering if they could really change the school. Suddenly, he got a call and rushed to the construction site. Ga Min also received a message and ran to the activity room. Pi Han-ul and his men had smashed everything, destroying their hard work. He clenched his fists, wanting to fight, but Hee-won stopped him and told him to endure it. Meanwhile, Se-hyun saw his father fighting with workers, shouting that his son was not a rogue. It was the first time he heard his father defend him. Feeling powerless and guilty, he promised to quit school and start working at the site the next day. Hee-won's parents also took her home and forbade her from seeing the study group. Lee Jun, unaware of everything, kept texting for updates. Ga Min was about to reply when he saw Se-hyun leave the group chat. His mother noticed he was upset and asked what happened. He said the study group was about to disband. To comfort him, she revealed that she allowed him to continue in this school because she saw how happy he was with his friends. He then remembered the good times they had together and felt motivated again. He cleaned up the activity room, then went to the site to work with Se-hyun. Se-hyun told him to go back, but Ga Min only said he wanted to go to college with him. Se-hyun was moved by his determination again. He knelt and begged his father to let him stay in school. He promised that in 3 years, he would get into the best university and give his father a better life. Ga Min also vowed that one day Se-hyun would own the building. Then, they went to Hee-won's house and convinced her parents with Se-hyun's top grades and a basket of blueberries. Next, they found Ji-woo at the convenience store and brought her back. Lee Jun was thrilled when he saw Se-hyun rejoin the group chat. The next day, the study group returned to school for a final showdown with Pi Han-ul. Meanwhile, Miss Lee refused to drop the charges against Pi Han-ul and insisted the disciplinary meeting go as planned. The detective advised her not to go to school. They couldn't predict what Pi Han-ul might do, but she refused to back down. The day before the disciplinary meeting, the vice principal asked Miss Lee to come to school. He decided to tell her about illegal deals between the gang and the school. The detective sensed danger and warned her not to go, but Miss Lee insisted on being bait to get evidence. The conversation between the two began. She took out her phone to record. The vice principal openly said the school was Pi Han-ul's kingdom, training gangster member and laundering money. He admired her bravery. Suddenly, all the lights went out, and he quickly ran away. Miss Lee stepped into the hallway to check but was surrounded by Pi Han-ul and 3 others. She warned them that the police would come soon. She had secretly installed a recorder in her button. The detective had promised to rescue her if she didn't come out in 30 minutes, but he was attacked. Pi Han-ul threatened her, saying, "Miss Woo's death was not just a rumor." Just then, the school's PA system suddenly blared. Hee-won cursed evil guys again. Meanwhile, Jae-myung appeared with his 4 friends. They had been secretly watching Miss Lee, worried for her safety. When they learned she was meeting the vice principal, they set up an ambush. Ga Min asked Lee Jun to take Miss Lee away and protect her. He was in charge of dealing with Pi-Han-ul. Ji-woo and Sun Cheol took on the other two. Se-hyun was responsible for dealing with the hat guy. Lee Jun was in charge of handling the gang member, Ante. They used to be childhood friends, but later, Ante became Pi-Han-ul's lackey, Miss. Lee needed to escape and hand over the evidence to the police. From the first to the fourth floor, all four of them fought their own opponents, but were all at a disadvantage. Ji-woo was the first to fight back, but couldn't beat the chubby guy. She teamed up with Sun Cheol, turning the fight into 2 against 2. In the end, they turned the tables and won. Se-hyun was chased and shot at by the hat guy until he ran out of bullets. Then he stepped up to fight back. Before that, he learned combat skills from Ga-min's mom. First, he needed to take the hits, but never gave up. When the guy got tired, he focused on attacking his weak points. In the end, he won with an uppercut. Lee Jun pulled out the knife from his chest and took down Ante with a swift attack. The others had already won, leaving only the strongest, Pi-Han-ul and Ga-min. Ga-min was knocked down many times. Pi-Han-ul mocked him, saying he could change nothing and couldn't save Miss Lee. Hearing that Miss Lee was in danger, Ga-min struggled up and used his ultimate technique to defeat Pi-Han-ul.
나 같은 놈들이 감히 꿈도 꾸지 못하게.
Meanwhile, Miss Lee, who had escaped, was blocked by gang members. She clutched the recorder helplessly until she heard Hee-won's voice. Behind her stood the students she had convinced to protect the teacher. A fight was about to break out. The next day, Miss Lee successfully held the disciplinary meeting. Pi-Han-ul was expelled. With Miss Lee's recording, he was also arrested for killing Miss Woo. The vice principal, who covered for him, was punished too. Everything was settled. Miss Lee fulfilled Miss Woo's wish, turning the school into a proper one. Hyun-woo was released early for turning his life around and reconciled with his sister. The study group's story wasn't over. Their final exams were coming, and new challenges awaited.